Greetings. This is going to be a collective message, not sign specific at all. It's just some messages that I have been collecting over the last 48 hours or so. I will save this when it's done. So again, this is going to be a collective message, not sign specific. Greetings. So like have other people saying it. I will say that's something I notice with my friends. If I meet you, I always say greetings, and I always find that people that I start talking to a lot start saying greetings back to me. They'll be like, greetings, Valerie, and I'm like, wonder who you got that from. All right, so these are just collective messages. The title of this collective message is You Made It Through the Wilderness, Collective. So something here was like the wilderness. And yes, this is Madonna's song also, Like a Virgin. But I'm hearing crushed for the very first time. That sounds kind of dark. Okay. This will tie in with the other messages though. Something here, actually I'm just going to address it right now from the David Goggins portion because I want to. He speaks about, to make a sword, you have to put a sword in fire. And not only do you have to put a sword in fire to make it, but you literally have to beat the piss out of it. So to yield a sword, you have to put a sword in fire and then you have to beat the piss out of it. So how did someone think that, people will see you and you may feel really disconnected from people collective. You are in this phase of life where you feel like you don't really connect to your old friends, family, or even your personal relationship or your current work or people at work because people only see what was created. They don't truly know your story. They don't know your background. They've only seen, as David Goggins puts it in one of his songs, they've only seen the end of the job, collective. So somebody here is judging you because they've only seen the end of the job. And it's not even the end of the job, of course, because we're all walking evolution. But they've only seen you in this current evolution. They've not seen the journey up to this space. They've not seen the hardships. They've not seen how much suffering, loss, grief, pain, near-death experiences, ego deaths, actual deaths. They've not seen what you've dealt with. And so it's incredibly naive and, blatantly outright stupid of them, which is the other funny thing, because it's like when bad things happen to these people, they'll go off and be like, oh, it's because that person, it's like, no, you thought something of someone that's genuine and pure, and because you projected something onto them, because you only saw the end of the job, you didn't see any of the stuff leading up to where they are, who they are today. That's when the karma is really coming in. But again, this is for the collective who has made it through the wilderness. And so collective, you have to be compassionate when you're dealing with people who have not made it through the wilderness yet. They're still caught in the forest or in the jungle. The numbers 1337 could be really important here, collective. 13:37. So that would be 4 and 10. 4 and 10. So there's a lot of completions within a foundation, a union, a home, a contract. This leads to an ace because a 10 is a 1 and a 0, which is essentially just a 1. So that's an ace energy. I'm hearing I'm free, dang it. Is that from Hunchback of Notre Dame? I don't know, something here about Disney movies is coming up. Also, 1337, when you add it all together, even though it's a 4 and a 10, it's a 5. And 5 is all about changes. So I'm hearing the song Changes by Justin Bieber. I'm going through changes. I'm hearing nobody is getting away with this. Nobody's going to get away with this. So for some of my collective, Inspector Gadget, some of my collective, you could be really big into CSI, investigation, inspecting things. You are really good at ruling your roost. You're really good at doing your research on people or things or places. So you're always a couple steps ahead in a situation. So there is a completion here. I'm seeing bank heists, the lock in the back of the bank where all the vault. I'm seeing I'm hearing cracking the code. So for some of my collective, you made it through the wilderness. You've cracked the code. Congratulations. On to the next level. This is the intro of Minesweeper. So I feel a lot of people, if you're watching this, you need to go read the introduction to Minesweeper. It's a pretty long read, but there's something here that you'll kind of get some revelations by reading that. I'm also hearing fancy car, but it's coming up from the song, oh baby, bring it all to me. Okay, so that's by Black, Blaque. It's like an old 90s song. I don't need no fancy car or diamond ring. I just want your time, your space, your energy. That's a lot if you ask me, collective. So someone here is like, I need your time, I need your space, I need your energy. Someone is wanting more of you, collective. And you may be struggling with that right now because you are just wanting to, you made it through the wilderness with the 4 and the 10. That's an ace. You just want to kind of reinvent yourself with 1. The number 1 is about being a pioneer. It's about the individual. So for a lot of my collective who resonate with this message, you are just kind of needing some space from connections right now. You are needing to kind of hermit yourself, and you want to just reinvent yourself or protect like a new project or a new union or a new child or a new pet. Congratulations if that's the case for you. Someone here, collective, you are wondering if it's too forward for you to tell someone how you feel, or someone is wondering if it's too forward to tell you how they feel. And it could be because of their situation. Going back to yesterday's reading at the beginning, the song Dilemma by Nelly. No matter what I do, all I think about is you, even when I'm with my boo. So again, that's the issue. That's the dilemma, collective. Some people are like in a connection, but you're thinking about somebody else. Or some people, you're not in a connection, but somebody else is, and they're thinking about you, but they're in a connection. So that's a dilemma. See what, there is something here that needs to change, collective. And, the biggest thing for a lot of my collective on the going back to the 1 and the pioneer energy is because no one's got you but you. It's like, no one's paying your bills but you. It's like no one's going to have your back at the end of the day, at the end of your life but you. So there's a strong need here to kind of emphasize that. It's like people might be upset at you, collective, because you're not giving them enough energy or enough attention, but you're like, how are you going to be upset at me because you're trying to make me codependent on you, or you're trying to keep me codependent on you? Like if you are halvesies with someone, or you are a bit dependent on someone or a situation at a time right now, you could be really upset because they're upset at you because you don't want to be dependent on the situation anymore, and you're actually trying to break into your independence. For some of my collective, you could also just be in a union that's been run a certain way for a really long time, and you're ready to be a little more in control of your path, and you also maybe want to explore some new things, because I'm hearing Dora the Explorer. Also, anyone upset, envious of your hard work paying off or you meeting your goals, 1 are revealing their true colors shining through. You see their true colors, and that's what you don't like about them. That's why, there's this situation here that you want to free yourself. You want to pull yourself, it's making it through the wilderness away from these people that are just like wanting to keep you stagnant. You're being told that no worries, there's a return to sender on all of those situations. And there's something also funny here because someone is more beautiful because their spirit is in control over them rather than their ego. So it's like, no, they haven't gotten rid of their ego, but their spirit is in control, not their ego. And yet ego-driven people will be upset and try and like copycat those that are spirit-driven, and then it just like reveals their true colors even sharper because ego can't mimic spirit. Like it can't copy spirit. So there's an energy here of, if you ever find yourself in lower vibrations of envy or jealousy, or thinking, oh, I wish my life was like this or like that, a connection to spirit is highlighted here, to focus on that and to be able to even witness the fact that you're in your ego when you're having those negative lower vibrational thoughts in the first place. And the awareness around having those thoughts is truly the first step to changing them and stepping into a greater abundance. People with ego controlling them are trying to copy what's authentic and real. And yeah, it's like, it doesn't work that way. Going back to David Goggins in one of his songs, he just repeats over and over, I speak from suffering. So this goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning of this message, of people who have only seen the end of the job. They haven't seen everything that you have experienced, everything that you've lived through, everything that you've conquered through, that would break other people's spirit, that would make them just give up, that would make them throw in the towel. And yet you only became more humble, you only became more purified, you only became more connected to God, to spirit, to source. Hence the fact here of spirit overriding your ego, and the people where their ego is still overriding their spirit are pissed about about it, because they're like, how is this happening? And it's like, how are you going to be pissed that you're just not, and you're not prioritizing your connection to God, you're not prioritizing your connection to source, and it's going to show. And so it's just a strong energy here of people that are ego driven really trying to copy people that are spirit driven, and yet it will never happen. So back to David Goggins, it's because of those people that are spirit driven speak from suffering. People who have gone through a lot of suffering know that growth takes suffering. Suffering is just a part of the process. David Goggins in the song, talks about Hell Week. And yes, he's talking about training with military, but I think of Hell Week with so many things and so many work situations, or, new mothers. Hell Week, it's like, he says you're sleep deprived, they beat the crap out of you, and then Hell Week starts. And it's like, okay, I'm sure leading up to having a child, it's like you're sleep deprived, they're beating the crap out of you, kicking you, it's uncomfortable, you're having all these issues, and then it's like, and then they're not even born yet, and it's like when they're born, that's when the Hell Week starts. But it's not Hell Week, it's like these things are gifting you your greatest blessings, but you have to make a sacrifice. And so there's an energy here, collective, of it's really being shown who has been willing to make a sacrifice and who cares about their human experience and their human life, and a sense of curiosity and experience and gaining wisdom through their human life, and becoming a more wise and embodied and authentic and spiritual human, like going through the ascension process. And it's really showing those who are just staying in their lower chakras, that are really staying driven by their ego or carnal or primal instincts. And those people that are driven by those things are really triggered by the ones who are transcending past that, even though the ones transcending past that are like, you can also do this as well, but it takes a sacrifice. There's also in his song, okay, so he talks about, he's like, okay, there's David Goggins, and then there's Goggins. And he's like, and Goggins is the guy that will take on anything you put in front of him. And so for a lot of my collective, you understand through going through what you go through, whether it's your training, whether it's near-death experience, or pain, suffering, something within yourself, loss, whatever it was that created you, you had to do that at some point in your life. You had to dissociate from, I'll just use myself for an example, dissociating from the ego of Valerie Sebastian and stepping into Valeriefromvega. And it's like, there's a different, there's something here about being able to zoom out and being able to see the bigger picture of things, because you are transcending being a full operation from your ego and having a spiritual paw on top of your ego, spiritual awareness that is it's not walking around I'm ego free. It's excuse me, ego, get in line. And the ego is okay, tuck tail between the legs, puppy, okay, yes, I understand. So you're also going to start meeting people that are like this, collective, and it's going to jumpstart your your clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, or seeing angel numbers, you're going to start seeing synchronicities more, and things are going to start I'm seeing a spiral. So there's a exponential growth in your spiritual growth, the moment you start just having slight awareness to these things. There's also an energy of, in the workplace, if you're ever, okay, so I'll just read it how he says it, but David Goggins in the song is if you're ever trying to make my life or my job harder, he's I'm going to reverse that pain and suffering, and I will take your soul. And so it's you want to have a balance to this. You don't want to, be out there being soul. I bet I'm hearing soul snatcher. You don't want to be a soul snatcher. But I mean, sometimes you kind of have to be collective, because the things that people will put you through or get over on you. And sometimes taking someone's soul is really you just removing yourself from the situation because of how much of your soul that they were sucking out of you. And so the audacity that a person would have to say that you took something from them when you simply took yourself, but they were completely sucking you dry and draining you dry like a vampire. So it's funny how that happens. And I'm hearing the song You've Got Something Kind of Funny Going On, which is Spice Girls. So okay, ego. With your ego, because of your ego, at all times your mind has a tactical advantage over you. So it knows your darkest secrets, and it's good at protecting you from them and pushing you far away from them and being like, here, let's go down the tunnel of comfort. And so our ego is designed to do that. And, that's okay and everything, but it's not really if we want to kind of transcend and embody and really heal through our life and make our life a living testimony. And there's something here, again, about the spirituality and the embodiment. And so there has to be a physical embodiment, a physical self-awareness, a physical understanding, which is why a lot of my collective, you're led to certain sports or training or yoga or body awareness or, you're drawn to some sort of physical something with your body that creates a higher sense of awareness, but also like a really like meditative or flow state for you. And that's the embodiment piece of, this ascension process. But then there has to be like a spiritual accompaniment to it, which doesn't have to be any sort of one belief, because there are many ways up the mountain, but just so much that so long as you are giving, 15, 20 minutes a day at least to the physical embodiment, so getting to know your body more deeply and integrating through that, and your spiritual devotion to something bigger than you, Spirit says there's going to be a rapid, expedited of something here. Okay, we already talked about the sword thing. So to make a sword, you have to place it in fire and repeatedly beat the crap out of it. Nothing hard comes from soft. Oh, and then of course it's going to be easy to be like motivated or to be excited or to be gung-ho about things when things are going well in your life, when it's like good circumstances. But as David Goggins puts it, it's the cat like at the bottom of the sewer who can be motivated in the bottom of the sewer and see inspiration and creativity and curiosity from the bottom of the sewer that gets out of there and like completely blows everyone else out of the water. I think that's all I'm going to do for this one, because I have a whole nother page and I don't have time for the rest of these. So this is a short, just collective messages, and I will come back tomorrow or later tonight to finish the rest of them. If you guys would like a personal reading, hit me up. Again, this reading was not sign specific. It was just for collective. Bless you.